Let's speak about all the day's news on this conflict with Dan Arbel, a 25-year veteran of the Israeli Foreign Service. He's now a scholar with the Center for Israeli Studies at American University. Dan, good to have you with us. I want to start with the IDF's initial conclusions that there was a camera that the IDF was targeting there. That, of course, does not explain a double strike on Nasser Hospital. What do you make of this explanation given, initially at least, from the IDF?
Well, it's a partial explanation, and it's, again, an unfortunate and tragic incident that occurred that should not have taken place. However, they cite the fact that they did suspect that terrorists are there, and Israel did have the experience throughout since October 7th that people impersonating as media or wearing media vests are taking part in terrorist activities. Nevertheless, the inquiry needs to be completed, and those who were responsible for this need to be, really seriously investigated and perhaps indicted if their actions are found to be illegal.
The Committee to Protect Journalists told us that there is proof now, or they believe there is proof, that Israel is directly targeting journalists because we've seen nearly 200 journalists killed in this conflict. And of course, there are aid workers who have been killed as well. It has been condemned by the UN and many countries. Do you believe that an inquiry will actually bring justice to them?
Look, those who have lost their lives, nothing will help anymore. But definitely an inquiry could help in fixing this problem that we've been witnessing for the last few months. But at the end of the day, I think that what needs to happen is an end of war. And an overwhelming majority of Israelis want this war to end. The government is pushing to extend the war for political reasons. If the war will end, I believe, we won't see this. But unfortunately, there's no end in sight to this war. And perhaps an inquiry could contribute to safer measures in the future. Right now, I don't see that happening, though.
We saw the images of protesters in Israel calling also on President Trump here in the U.S. to put pressure on the Israeli prime minister to do precisely that, to end the war and bring hostages home and bring some relief to civilians who are suffering in Gaza. Do you think that message will be effective from what you've seen so far from the Trump administration?
So I think that the only thing that can bring an end to this war at this point is pressure from the Trump administration. Trump, for some reason, is still waiting to place additional pressure on Israel, but certainly he's the only one that Netanyahu listens to. In the coming days, yesterday he stated that the war may end in 2-3 weeks. I don't think it's a realistic timeline, but if Trump understands the severity and the need to end this as soon as possible, then he may step up and pressure Mr. Netanyahu to end this war. That's the only thing that will make this war end.
What is your explanation, Dan, for President Trump not doing so yet? Because these images have been, across screens and headlines for weeks, months now.
I think he's giving Israel another opportunity to, achieve some of the goals that it believes it has not achieved. And so he wants to give Israel more time to complete this. But I think that at a certain point, this is clashing with his own agenda. It's getting him and his administration under serious criticism and into trouble. And I think that we're going to see something of him placing greater pressure once he realizes that the only thing that between an end of war and the situation now is his signaling to end the war.
What about the domestic protests? Does that have any impact on Prime Minister Netanyahu and his considerations?
So first of all, this is important to show that an overwhelming majority of Israelis do not support the government and its policies and its agenda. So domestically, it's important. It's also important to show the world that not all Israelis are the Netanyahu government. And I think that Netanyahu is sensitive and he understands this. And he's not happy with these scenes. So these demonstrations need to continue to add more pressure on him domestically, perhaps to bring him to the right decision.
Okay, Dan Arbel, thank you very much for your analysis today.
Thank you, Sumi.